Should she not have done that?
Somebody in here.
That's not the point. When her political opponents brought that up, like released the video or somebody like put it out that she had done it, she claimed that was like revenge porn and it was like illegal. It was an invasion of her privacy. But she did it and made money. Hacked her computer and like.
Hey, JR, I'm going to be able to 12, when I leave, I'm talking out loud, 12-minute countdown. If it's coming to a point, because they can't see that, they may not know, is there anything that you can do on your end to let them know that we need to go to break?
Don't give him anything.
I mean, you could also say over the air, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, like a producer, and just say, hey, we've got, X, it'll be Misty or Josh. I'll get them set up with you. How close are we? Oh, we got an extra song, I guess. Right. Okay. Greg will be here too, so he'll be able to help that. Yeah, Greg will be in the second hour. And depending on what we got, if we've got rain delay or something like that, I may be here longer. So I'm at Fairway Oaks, playing in the Fairway 500. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, how are you?
Are we
Good
still
to
on
see you.
time or?
You got regulars?
Right.
Oh, okay.
On another note, did you start the recording? Well, I mean, do you have time to do that? And
You do? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, just so if you have to, you can start us and then go do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, Philly won and
All right, Josh, you got any other headline report things that we want to talk about? Or last night's game, did you watch any of it? I think the rule of the end zone fumble was the game changer. It's 10-7. Jefferson catches a great pass, then fumbles out of the end zone, goes through the end zone. They get it on they don't even get the ball anymore. And the other thing I'm going to talk about is I think last night, even though the Eagles have put up quite a few points both weeks, I think, depending on what we do Sunday, morning Corey Jenkins, this makes me feel better about the Eagles and the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. All right. I should have gone to see a TT a while ago, but I did not. I'm a strange little man. Don't disagree with that. All right. We're going to try to add the third camera here in a minute for those that are watching on the internet. You'll see people going back and forth. That's the good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between right here on 106.9, the Country Giant, brought to you by Loud Landing Cattle, and our guests appear on our Pest Patrol phone line all morning long as the Hodge Pack is on the road at the Abilene Country Club. We are here at the side of the 500. A little bit of rain happening, lightning, all the things God's given us. But we are here on the road, Josh and I, and Misty will be here shortly. And then we'll have our guest picker, a very familiar voice that you have heard before on this station and on country radio for a long, long time. But again, it's Hodge and Josh here. on the road. Josh, you got here in time, got your breakfast done, and we're rocking and rolling.
It's much closer to the house than going all the way downtown.
Yeah.
I don't like it though, because there's people that walk behind me and it makes me want to turn around and look, but I'm tied to this cord and I can't turn around.
Yeah.
So
Well, you can move closer to me
Well,
if that's what you want.
Well, if that's the option, then no.
And so Josh is on the porch with the chain, and hopefully he does not outrun it. But the other thing, Josh, I feel like you are Josh of our staff here, in the fact that he's coming off an injury, you're coming off an injury, and I feel like each week we need an update on how's the eye, how things going. Real excited guy walking in. We'll have some stuff coming for us soon, but we'll talk about that later. So how's the eye, Josh?
Well, it's getting better. I can almost see.
So
I did go to the doctor this week and got the update. It's good. I'm allowed to go back to. I mean, I can do things now.
There you go.
Shoot a shot.
So you're like Josh Young,
Yeah,
which
right.
he got a good report this week.
Released for baseball activities.
There you go. So Josh and Josh Young, Josh Squared, opened up for baseball activities. Again, we are live at the Abilene Country Club South Course in the Pro Shop. This is real cool, and this is what I'm looking forward to. We've got some news coming up with the station later, but we got a TV here, Josh. We got stuff going on like you would have in a regular studio. We're moving on up like the Jeffersons.
We do have a TV. That's dangerous for me because if I look at the TV, I get tranced.
Yeah, so those that are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, be ready to watch. Josh may fall out of that chair in a minute. Things may go crazy. But one of the things it is time for our Lawrence Law headline report. Last night, football happened. The Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles winning the game 34-28, going to 2-0. Both weeks in a row, Josh, the Eagles have played the Patriots and the Vikings in close games. Last night, I really thought the Vikings had a very misfortune happen with a rule that I think is stupid. It was 10-7. Jefferson catches the ball, gets tackled on the 1, but in the 1-yard line while he's tackled, he fumbles the ball and it goes into the end zone, and they get a touchback. I think it's a terrible rule. Nobody recovers it. If he would have fumbled it to the left and just stayed on this side of the pile, they got to keep it. I think that's a stupid.
I mean, it's always been the rule, though. So I mean, I don't know that it's something that's.
Would you change it?
Well, no.
Why do you think they came to that? Why do you think that's an appropriate rule? Now, I understand if you don't want to fumble it forward and just, hey, that guy's open. I fumbled it that way.
I think that's why it exists. Because you try to, if you could accidentally fumble into the end zone, maybe you recover it. I mean, I don't know, but there were rules put in place because at one point someone tried to take advantage of some situation. That's why it's.
And I think it ought to be like, you remember when we used to play 21 back in the day and 3 tips you were out, or you went back to 11, you went back to whatever. I think that's what they ought to do with this. If you fumble it, we're going to take it back to the 20 and keep the football. Anyway, not a fan of the rule. Last night, the Eagles 34-28, and I thought one of the things John talking before the show started in our pregame meeting, production meeting with all the people and the producers was, I think this makes me feel better about maybe, and we'll know more Sunday, and we'll talk more about why Sunday's different for the Cowboys than it would have been, about us and the Eagles, because the Eagles look a little more, not human, but not that separation that people might have thought going into this season.
They definitely don't look like world beaters. I mean, they're not some, just force that you're like truly scared that the Cowboys won't be able to overcome. And obviously, this Sunday's game for the Cowboys kind of lost some of its luster with Aaron Rodgers going down, so it's not maybe quite as key of a matchup, but now it's become the focus of that Jets defense that did well against Josh Allen and the Bills. It's like, is that defense enough to allow Zach Wilson to do anything as far as winning games? So it's going to be it changes the storyline a lot.
But I think it adds to it, and we'll continue with our Lawrence Hall headline report, staying here with football and last night's game. In that Kirk Cousins had a really good game last night. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. They turned the ball over 4 times, though, one of those being Justin Jefferson's turnover. That would have been, I think, at worst, tying the game up, if not going in with a go-ahead touchdown. Now the talk is 0-2. Everybody's flipping out. We're watching Get Up here in the pro shop. Kirk Cousins has been playing pretty well. Now should the Vikings look to trade him?
Or just what? Cash it in? I mean,
to me, it seems early to do something. And we don't know how bad Tampa Bay is. But Baker Mayfield a couple years ago was that same type play away from going to the AFC Championship and playing to go to the Super Bowl, and was a #1 draft pick. And now he had a decent week. He still has Mike Evans. He still has Chris Godwin. And so could the Buccaneers loss not be as bad, because this loss against the Eagles is probably not a bad one?
well, I don't really think you can put too much stock in a week one, matchup as far as determining, how good you are for the rest of the year. And we've talked about this going into week one last week, that so many teams don't play starters in the preseason games, or they get very limited reps compared to how they did, just a few years ago. So if you turned on, I watched Red Zone a little bit last Sunday. Cowboys had a night game, so I wasn't invested in. And really what you saw were a lot of close games that were won by a team that you thought should have won, but didn't go the way maybe was predicted, and a lot of sloppy football. So as that kind of changes, you'll start to see who teams really are. But if you're the Vikings, the Lions are obviously making headlines in that division, and were my favorite to pick the division, but a lot of people had the Vikings in that same spot too. And I don't think that 2 losses to non-division rivals means you just cancel your season. Like they're still, it's like 2 losses at the end of the year. If they ended up 11-6, which is still
The reason they're talking about it is Curtis is in the last year of contract, and they're going to owe him a lot of money next year, or they could trade him away and move on. And they're like, well, if I'm Kirk Cousins, trade me to the Jets. Give me a chance to maybe go to a Super Bowl, because I think I'd be good enough with that defense. But anyway, I want to talk. Well, I want to finish this segment because I want to go full Rangers, and so we'll be here in a minute. We'll send it to JR back in the studio and go to commercial, because I want to talk the Rangers, because we got so much great stuff to talk about with the Rangers. But I do think the thing we got to remember about this game last night was one of the things that happened on the sideline was apparently A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts got into a heated discussion, which happens, and which, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you find a way to get it together and move on. But I do think Kirk Cousins would be good enough to help the Jets maybe. Obviously, he's not an Aaron Rodgers candidate realm. I mean, he is the middle line, it seems like, half the time is what
he is. Kind of like, better than him, you're a good quarterback. If you're worse than him, you're a bad quarterback.
Right.
Just like right there.
But I just think the thing about that, and we'll talk more about it when Misty gets here, when we talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation in week 1 of the NFL. But last night's game, again, 34-28, the Eagles are 2-0, and hopefully will be joined by the Cowboys on Sunday, which you can listen to the Cowboys as they will be taking on the New York Jets, Rodgerless Jets, but still a #1 draft pick will be leading their offense. When we come back, we will dive into our first bank and trust Texas Rangers report. The Rangers are on a roll, on a move, and heading to Cleveland, and we'll talk about that. And again, we mentioned Josh Young getting close to being off the DL, Josh Greer getting close to being off the DL. All things here live at Abilene Country Club. We'll be back. Hodge Pack right after this.
No, it was a while ago. It's not anymore.
All right, we're at break. Let us know. We'll be good. Hey, we need a good sports doctor to sponsor the show. We don't have anybody. We need a. Let's see if we can get Misty on. Morning.
Good morning.
Hello. And back with Olivia Newton-John. I like it. Hopefully this works this time, because if not, we may just be trading cameras and take Josh off, because for whatever reason this camera's not working. All right, that's spinning. Let's see if it works. I don't want it to start over.
Where do you want me?
You're right there, but unless you want to sit on the couch, be in camera with me.
No, this is fine. Oh,
Slide over.
How's it going?
Josh is not there. It's like this third camera just drains every bit of internet out of it. Went a little blonder,
a little darker.
Oh, a little
A
darker.
little darker.
I knew something was different.
Yep. Little fall hair.
Not fall out.
Not fall. Hopefully it's not falling out. Yeah, we don't want that.
I'm trying to figure out a way to get this turned to where
Definitely
it
don't want
gets
that.
maybe both of us. 'Cause we don't.
We'll just have to get very close on the couch. You-
Right.
Hi, Joshua.
Hello, how are you?
I did not
Actually-
recognize your voice when you said cold drinks. It did not sound like you. But yeah, I did not. Well, or is that?
No, it's like
Oh,
busted.
I've got a water, Josh.
It's busted.
Get one of those waters.
yeah. I didn't bring anything either. I was like out the door.
Colton and them can get y'all something, because they're supposed to be breakfast. All right, so we're gonna do this, Josh. We're gonna be on camera.
What's wrong?
It's like when you add the third camera here, it like ruins lives and things.
Are you sure? Thank you so much.
That I'm not gonna disagree with that being a possibility. All right, Josh, let me see if I can turn this.
Oh, Misty's hair's too nice to wear earphones. Goodness.
Well, it's gonna be hard to
I
be
will.
heard.
I will. I will take one for the team. Are we about to come back?
How much time we got, JR? That's gonna be a second.
Oh my.
Greg Austin's promo. Promo. Got to enunciate the right letters
Yeah.
in that. Can you hear, Misty?
I can hear.
I can hear Misty.
Your cords hanging off your.
It's a struggle.
Get your helmet and crayons.
There we go. Leave me alone.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. Here on the road at Abilene Country Club on the south side. Connor walking in. A lot of people getting ready to tee off. We'll get Misty. We don't have a weather app, so you are a new weather app. What was coming in?
A little misty.
Oh,
Pun
a
intended.
little misty. There you go.
It really was.
So not rainy, a little misty.
Just a little misty coming on to the country club.
There you go. Good stuff. Josh is.
You're welcome.
I'll
Josh.
go home now.
What would y'all do without me?
Well,
A lot better, probably.
no, we would not. We would definitely not be misty for sure. But Misty here, Josh. So Josh, let's talk some Texas Rangers. First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger report. It's exciting times. The Rangers on a 4-game winning streak. Is that?
Oh, no, it's 6.
6-game winning streak. That's why Josh is our Ranger insider. Now in second place of the wild card. Pretty much, you're basically chasing the division and a wild card. That's it. The other wild card is going to be, that's going to Tampa Bay.
Or the Orioles, because Tampa Bay is playing very well and has some ground between them and Baltimore. So
they're in the same as the
yes, but one of those two teams, Tampa Bay or Baltimore, will be the first wild card. It appears. I mean, they would have to wheels completely come off, like lose out almost to fall out of that. And then the American League West is in a similar situation that somebody's going to be the number 2 in the wild card and someone's going to win the division. Right now, the Rangers are only half a game behind the Astros for the division lead, and they are squarely in that second wild card spot, with the Mariners being behind them, and then now more in the rearview mirror is the Toronto Blue Jays after the Rangers went to Toronto and not just beat them, not just swept them, but embarrassed them.
Well, what the Rangers did is what the Astros did to us a few weeks.
Very, very much so. The 4-game sweep, Toronto outscored the Blue Jays 9 over the 4 games. So I mean, it was just a really all phases of the game beatdown.
Right.
So which it is got to be disheartening if you're the Blue Jays. I mean, I know how I would feel if you reverse those outcomes, because they rolled in there second in the wild card, looking to expand that lead, and then the Rangers just really, and I don't know how you explain it necessarily, because they just flipped a switch and went back to the pre-All-Star break Rangers, scoring runs.
Right.
To the point where it just
and the other thing that we got this week was the Rangers experiencing similar to what the Jets, and I can't wait to get Misty's take on the Jets. And I know she's disappointed in Aaron Rodgers not going to be playing the rest of the year.
Commercials though, she can still see it.
Yes, in mine next to Tony Romo in her room.
Yeah.
But Max Scherzer going to be done for the regular season. Talking to our buddy Zach last night, he thinks he will not see anything even if we make it to the World Series.
And that's a solid possibility. I mean, the good thing about Scherzer's injury, if the silver lining, I guess, is it is not anything that requires any sort of surgery. It's just a rest and rehab type of situation. So even that does open the door to, is there enough time to maybe come back in limited stints in the playoffs? But even if that's not the case, we don't have to worry about him, not being ready to go next year. So there's always that. But the way it is right now, obviously you're gonna, if you make the playoffs, which is still an if, but if you make the playoffs, you're gonna face that you're able to just continue to just pummel the team where the pitching is not quite important. But the Rangers went through a long stretch of the season Scherzer's only been around for a few weeks. They had DeGrom, for just 6 or 7 starts. So they've gone long stretches of the season without having those guys and still put up good numbers. So it's not an all is lost situation.
Right.
It's a downer, but
it's like they said on the ticket. The fact that the Cowboys are starting week 2 and we're still talking Rangers is great. And so that's our first Bank and Trust Texas Ranger report. The Rangers a half game out, heading to Cleveland this weekend for a 3-game series. And hopefully we'll get ready for the big stretch where we play the Mariners, seem like on repeat. And so the next few weeks are going to be fun in the DFW area, where we could be seeing Texas Ranger playoff baseball along with the Dallas Cowboys. I want to move into, because I'm on the weather, Humbly and all those things, and you are going to take it home. But let's talk about the Aaron Rodgers, make the transition from Max Scherzer to the Aaron Rodgers incident. And unfortunately, we'll talk about that. Brad wants to know, I don't think Odalis, real quick, I'm going to take care of our listeners. Josh Young, yes, returned. Will Odalis?
I do think if there's a playoff run, he'll be back. If from what I was reading yesterday, it would be a last week of the season, possibly that he could come back. Um, but the he's one of those guys. He's a freak. I mean, if you see
Garcia?
yeah,
Yeah.
if you see him,
Right.
he's obviously in good shape and takes care of himself and knows how to find the weight room. So I mean, if anyone can make that rehab, I think it would be him.
So there you go, Brad. He's going to be back. All right, Misty. Let's talk about it. Last Sunday night, this week, it's be the Jets, Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers going back to the desert where he won a Super Bowl, all the things, all the hype. And 4 plays in, Aaron Rodgers goes down, and not only goes down for the rest of the year. And I want your initial thoughts on the situation.
So my initial thought was I was right because about 3 weeks ago I made this prediction and y'all gave me crap. I think you specifically. I said he's going to get injured and he's going to be out. Like he just needs to retire. He has nothing left to prove.
But I guess my question is, why did you think he hadn't been injury prone his career?
I don't know. All the hype and everything that was surrounding it, I was like, something is going to happen to crash and burn this thing because Aaron Rodgers is tied to it and he's drama. And I'm like, he's going to crash and burn. And I don't want
the Jets.
And it's the Jets.
Like,
and I don't want him. I mean, I don't wish him any ill will like that. I was sad to see that he was gone just because there is all of this to kind of see what the outcome of it would be with him going to New York. But I wasn't surprised. And I was like, I didn't mean to put that bad juju on Aaron, but I guess I did like 3 weeks ago.
Well, and I didn't anticipate him because he's had a couple of other injuries, but they've been like a collarbone on a tackle. So I didn't think injury would be an issue. I thought maybe performance might be an issue at 38, but I didn't think the injury would be an issue. Because he hadn't shown that. He's not like we've seen with, unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins this past week, also tearing his Achilles. Again, that poor guy cannot catch a break.
I just knew some black cloud was going to follow him, and I wasn't quite sure exactly if it would put him out, but I was just like, something's going to happen. Didn't think it was good. Oh my gosh. Like I felt for the fans, right? Because it was like the year that Dak, had his and right. He was carted off. And I mean, gosh, that was
well. And the other difference in that one is, and going back to Josh, what was your thoughts on it? I mean,
my thoughts were basically that the media and like all the national attention were just suddenly the Jets were some unbeatable team. They had a good defense that played well last year. They added some pieces, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers, but not, Breece Hall is looking like he's going to, step up and do some stuff, and they brought in the running back that I can never remember his name.
Dalvin Cook.
It leaves me every time I try to think about it. But all of that hype that was going that direction. And typically, if you at just in football, but it's all major sports, the preseason major national news hype never plays out.
Yeah.
So,
but it is in Boulder right now. It is in Boulder.
It is in Boulder.
Well, but that's a different thing because it's almost they're hyped there because they're watching it, but it's almost like a hate watch. I think that people truly. Well, they did not pick them to beat TCU. Obviously, they built the Nebraska game as something that was going to be some close game.
But again, and you brought it up in the Lawrence Hall headline report. It's hard to gauge anything on week one, and the reason we got week one the way we thought it was because what TCU did last year, and we assumed they were going to be the Horned Frogs of 2022, and it turns out they're just the Horned Frogs of now.
Yeah, well, that is true. You don't know what you're getting in week one, but I don't. To the point of there was hype with Dion, all the things that were going on there, but it's not a general like. I think as many people want Dion to fail as there's people that want him to succeed.
Yeah, love-hate relationship for sure there.
Right. Well, and so, but the other thing that's different about when you mentioned Dak, you're exactly right. We looked over and we had Cooper Rush and
We were
ironically,
devastated. I
no,
mean,
we
as
had Andy
fans.
Dalton that year.
Andy
Yeah,
Dalton.
we
Andy
were
Dalton.
devastated.
But this year, and again, I'm wondering what it's going to be like. But they've got the guy that was a first round draft pick. I mean, Zach Wilson was the guy they thought was going to change their franchise, was going to be their new franchise quarterback. And you mentioned it; it's the Jets. They're kind of like you talk about the black cloud. I don't think the black cloud's on Aaron Rodgers. I think the black cloud's on the New York Jets. But is their defense going to be good enough? And I think when we talk about this upcoming Sunday, last week was all about the defense, and the Cowboys win big, 40-0. They talked about how we're watching it again on Get Up, how the Cowboys just dominated, and we won 40-0 because of the defense. And Dak didn't do anything to hurt us. High five. He still doesn't have an interception, so he's still. Hopefully that's speaking to Cloud. I think you went with 10 or 11.
I said, yeah, 10. That
10,
he would
so-
have, yeah, which
so
is an improvement from 15.
So we're 1 week away from that. He's got 16 more weeks to not throw 10 interceptions. But in all that, this weekend I think is going to be about that. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about week 1, the Cowboys, and we'll get some prime conversation as well, and we'll open up Misty's bag because definitely don't want to miss that. We'll be back with more Hodge Pack right after this.
I got a little chill.
About this upcoming game is now it focuses on the pressure of Dak and defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to face a lot, maybe the best defense he faces all year. Or is there a better one?
I mean, if you listen to the people speak, it's the Jets and the Cowboys.
It's going to be. I'm
two best
excited.
defenses.
I'm excited for Sunday.
But
Well, I'm excited that
It's going to be a good game.
y'all should come over.
It's going to be a good game. Well, we have I don't know if it's going to get canceled, but we have a softball tournament here in Abilene. So we play at 6:00 tonight if the weather holds off.
It
It might not rain on Sunday. Because
Yeah.
it's-
That's the thing. I don't know what they're going to do because we're supposed to play tonight at 6 and then tomorrow morning at 10 are our pool
Well, like
games.
Holly-
But I don't know what they're going to do.
Holly was supposed to play Albany, which that game may not happen.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to find a field to play that. They may play at Wiley tonight, which that is the case. I need to ask Randy if that happened. If they're playing that at Wiley, if you don't have a game to go to,
Yeah, that's going to be a good game.
Just because Holly's field
got
is
soaked,
What I got out there.
and I don't think it drains very good.
So,
Morning, Bill. Morning, Doug. Morning, Deb.
Yeah, I won't know what's going to happen until probably later this afternoon. Because if we don't play tonight, then Saturday and Sunday are probably going to be packed with games because we're going to be behind.
There's still a 90% chance of rain tomorrow.
I know.
But
And what's crazy about that is it is fluctuated on yes it's raining, no it's not
Mhm.
raining, because it's gone from like 80 down to 40 back to 70. It's like rock paper scissors.
well, the other thing is it's not rained a ton, but it's rained enough that makes
Right.
like any kind of rain is.
Well,
Uh-huh.
and I know that I'm going to show my ignorance because we play softball at Nelson. I'm assuming they're all still dirt. They've not
Yeah.
put any.
Sometimes they'll go and
That's
pull
what they
tarps
do.
out, like if they know that there's an upcoming tournament. So I don't know if they had tarps out or not.
For the second hour, what do y'all feel more comfortable about? Should we come back with?
Just gonna make fun of you.
That's not y'all. That's what
I've
y'all
got a
always do.
roast plan.
Oh,
Yeah, several guests.
Just remember, I'm good at roasting back.
You're
One,
not gonna be.
there'll be a show next week.
Maybe not after what we do.
That don't.
they
don't
may not tune in next week after this show.
Talk about week 1 last week, Giants game,
Mhm.
or college football when we
Next,
come back.
I don't care.
Misty.
whatever.
All right. And my producers are rocking it.
Cool.
College football?
Sure.
Okay. Yes.
It's like, who's he talking to?
Is that for Calcutta?
All right. I can get you
Okay.
taken care of back here.
Uh,
So Is that how much y'all owe for sure? I just want to make sure you get a good receipt and everything.
Okay, that's fine. Do you mind writing a note down and maybe leave it in there where the recording's happening and just ask Jones? Okay,
How are you? Good to see you.
I appreciate it.
Your headphones are so cute and little, like your ears, and mine are so big. We should have switched, but like, look how cute they are on Josh. They're so tiny,
Found something
and
that I
mine are
wear
so
well.
big.
You look like Princess
I
Leia.
have big ones. Yes.
I have big ones. That's what she said. There you go, Zane. It was off the air, but that was his first. That's what she said. Congratulations, and tally mark number 1.
I don't know how to operate without my phone because I use it to research. I have to go about my.
Would you like the iPad?
Is it, maybe. Is it connected to the intranets?
Yeah. See,
To the
ESPN.
interwebs.
Here, Josh. It's a bigger one,
We do like the bigger one.
and that's
Now
number
we're just
2.
getting ridiculous.
Now she's just trying to find a way to do it. Again, that's what she said. 9-3. That's not right. 1616 is the passcode if you need
Well,
it.
No, this thing like almost fell off.
Oh, that's the whole
Dropped
game.
it on the ground.
T Hill Academy, another great opportunity to sponsor.
Really?
You can sponsor something.
Talking about college football now.
Yes, that is correct. T Hill, are we still on time?
Yes. Early. What the heck? Y'all do this every Friday.
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. Right here on the road, brought to you by Lytle Land and Cattle. Our guest up here on our Pest Patrol phone line. We are on the Pest Patrol phone line all day long because we are on the road. Hodge, Misty, and Josh rocking and rolling here at the side of the Fairway 500. Just dropped down now. It's called the 500, but a tournament that's been going on a long time. 192 teams, largest field. Hodge is in the 5th flight, so we'll try to hit a golf ball here in a minute. Keep looking at Herbie over there if we're still on time, and it looks like we are. We'll get a text if not. Misty, yesterday, Coach Norvell from Colorado State made a comment and said, my mama raised me right to not wear a hat and sunglasses when I talk to people. And
I saw that.
shots fired, if you will.
That is very
Yeah.
Your thoughts, and we talked about the hype of Aaron Rodgers, and unfortunately the cloud is like what's happening outside for Aaron Rodgers, but for the club right now for Deion Sanders, everybody is in Boulder this weekend for Colorado State and Colorado. First Take is there, College Game Day, Fox's Big Day Noon, whatever they call it, are there. Everybody's there. Pat McAfee will be there today. You want to talk about hype? Prime is happening. And did your mama raise you to not wear a hat and sunglasses?
I guess she did. I never have done that, but I don't know. I thought, I was just, I like what Deion is doing. I don't think anything's wrong with it. That's just who he is. That's his personality. That's Prime. That's just his persona. I don't see anything wrong with it. So now shots are going to be fired back whenever they beat the crap out of them this weekend.
When there's certain things, it's kind of like a fight. Why would I want to try to fight Josh?
You'd be better off fighting me.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
True.
No, I wouldn't.
I think I could take you.
But
we could video that. That'd be
yeah,
funny.
I mean, I've got a better chance maybe taking on Barrett and Luke, but it'd be like a handicap match, and I would still lose. But that's a wrestling term, not a. Never mind. But in case you took that wrong, it's a wrestling match. Look it up. But my point of that is, there are people you poke, and it's okay.
Yeah.
There are people you don't. There's bears you don't poke. Hope for those who are trying to beat the bear later on, you get the picks from Josh. But Prime Time is not one. And here's the deal. Yes, Prime is being himself, and he turns on the WWE interview and all that. But for the most part, he's not doing anything wrong.
Right.
He's coaching it up. He's trying to get the best out of his kids. And why would you do that?
Say he's not doing anything wrong. There's a lot of people that would disagree with you.
Well, apparently, Coach Norvell, because he should take his
Well,
hat off
I
and
mean,
sunglasses.
I really like his sunglasses personally.
But there are a lot of people who
I thought about wearing them today.
I've read things, like some opinion pieces, on different publications that there's people expressing that they feel like what Prime is doing is like detrimental to the sport of college football. Like
And what
just the fact of the never been done full team turnover, like get rid of everybody when you take over a program and bring in all your own people like immediately has never been done before. And there's people that don't like that. Like there is a tradition of, the don't wear your hat and sunglasses, but there's typically a tradition of like decorum of head football coaches in college that for the most part is much more professional in minds. And if you look at some of the people who were not that in the past, where Mike Leach was one of those, and he had a lot of detractors. There were people that thought that even the way he was coaching football was like
why are we
bad
throwing
for the
it
game.
every down? Why are we doing those things? Why are linemen never in a stance?
Why are you going for it on 4th and 20? Just like so.
Well,
it's an evolution, and sometimes those that are leading that evolution are not necessarily liked.
do you think?
I mean, people didn't like it when they said the world was round. So
do you think because he's successful right now that those naysayers are going to come around?
Well, I think
Eventually?
the more
in the next 2
think-
weeks, that's going to be.
I think if he truly is successful, if they end the season where you look back and think, well, that worked, there will be people that do the same thing. Just like the spread took off and now it's basically everywhere.
Yeah, if you have a fullback on your roster, you're like a foreign exchange student.
Right. So it's so if people see the success and think, okay, well, we do the same thing, you'll see it where every program in the country can think, well, all we got to do is get the this coach in here that can just turn us around, and you can but if it's not successful, if it doesn't stay coherent through the year because you basically just have a throw together team, then people will say, well, see, told you.
I think you would have done that with Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers would have played all year healthy and came up short, your black cloud of not only not making it, but being the Jets would have been the same. But when I think about Deion and we talk about it, is the next 2 weeks is where we're going to find out.
Yeah,
the next 2 weeks is we're going to find out how good Deion is and how good he can coach and how good he can get his team ready. Because beating TCU, who came off, lost their quarterback, they've got a ton of guys in playing that were played on last year's team that didn't play this against them. They won that game. They beat a Nebraska team that we still don't know what they're going to be. Wasn't that important? But they got Oregon and USC over the next 2 weeks. Oregon and Tech. Tech had a chance, almost could have won that game. Too many turnovers and all that. So the next 2 weeks is we're going to find out how good Prime is.
Yeah, no, I'm rooting for him. I like what's happening. I don't know. He's shaking it up, and I get the point of Josh and the traditions of college football, but I'm here for it. I don't know. I like it. I like a shakeup, and that's exactly what he's doing. So for me, it's exciting to watch, and I hope that they go far. So
right.
I am rooting for him.
And so that was story number one, is that they're 2-0. Boulder gets College Game Day. I don't know why they picked this week and not wait 2 more weeks when USC comes to town. I don't understand that. But Prime is
the nature of the schedule. If you look at the schedule,
there's a lot of places
really
to go.
On,
yeah,
and which was hard to pick games to even try to pick
right.
it because it was a lot of cupcakes.
Yeah.
So
the other story of the week was the University of Texas going to Alabama and beating Nick Saban, and not only beating Nick Saban, but it was Sarkisian, former assistant coach, going into Alabama, winning against the Crimson Tide, 34-24. Texas looks like they may be back. We don't know. They've got the tough Wyoming Cowboys coming to town on Saturday. But you think about it, how ticked off is the Big 12 going to be if Texas runs the table and wins the Big 12 in their last year when they eat with us?
Yeah, you said what would be worse than Texas winning? Well, Oklahoma winning it. So
I would go Venables. Go Oklahoma over Texas.
Well, I mean, I'm not a Texas fan, but I was honestly they beat Bama in that. I mean, you had their fans leaving the quarter. Like, I mean, it was just terrible.
Yeah, it probably doesn't happen very often in the city of Tuscaloosa.
Well, it hasn't happened to Nick Saban since he was at LSU
Right.
to lose
I mean,
a home game
yeah.
by that margin. you know,
Their
so-
faces were just, I mean, golly.
And you start looking at the fading, and you start looking at the when do people hang it up and all those things. I think the thing, and of course, everybody's like, now Georgia is the Alabama, Georgia's the standard.
Oh boy.
But if you think about it,
Really?
the Georgia, it may be the standard, but Alabama just lost to a good team. It's not like they got beat by Wyoming. It's not like they got
Right.
beat by Texas State. They got beat by Texas.
But I think the relevance of Texas over the last few years, I think that's what it is. They were not expecting that
Oh,
at
no.
all.
I think if they'd have won 34-31 like that, it
Yeah.
might have been, hey, great thing that it was.
Yeah.
And that type of win is what is surprising.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, Aaron Rodgers come back and play at 40. Is it time for Nick Saban to hang it up?
I mean, I don't know. I still think that he still has it in him, and it's Nick Saban, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that would, I think that's a coin toss.
Well-
Some people would say, leave, we want something new and fresh. And others would say, heck no, he's taken us all of these victories. We want to keep him. I don't know.
Well, there's other places to go now. As far as like, because Georgia has stepped it up and kind of become that automatic number one kind of the last few years. Maybe Alabama doesn't have the depth that they definitely didn't show that they did, and they have a down roster. This is what the interesting thing, because that's
Probably the worst quarterback they've had
well,
in
right. And
5-6 years.
it's very odd to see Alabama actually just get out athleted.
Yes.
And they did.
And that's what we expect from Texas, because they should be getting the best, and they are some of the best athletes, some of the best, all that. So again, not a lot of great games this weekend, but last weekend was great, and there'll be continued great games along the way. When we come back, we're going to open up Misty's bag. A little nervous. We'll see what happens right after this.
Well, how are we?
Good. How about yourself?
Um,
What time are you supposed to be out?
did they tee off at 7:30 gone?
I have no idea. Still in my face. Couldn't tell you. No Facebook Live one, Hodge?
Yeah.
Okay. What does the weather look like as far as, is there any more rain
Supposed to
coming
be a
this
little
way?
bit in a couple hours. Let's see if that happens.
Bill, or
I don't believe
What's it doing right now?
It's steady. It's fine.
I think
It's wet out there, but it's not coming down.
we had somebody.
Not a lot of roll happening.
I bet not.
Is it lift, clean, in place, I wonder?
I don't know.
Misty, you'll need to keep the time.
Okay.
So 12 minutes, just start at 10 minutes or so, and send it back to,
I just-
Greg's coming, but
Yeah.
we got Josh's phone. What's that?
Is this supposed to be mirrored? Where you can't read it?
It's backwards.
Oh, Connor.
I gotta read. It doesn't even know it is backwards.
It's pictures is all. I'm about pictures.
Pictures or pictures.
We got a hot story about a political candidate we'd like to talk about.
Did you read that, Misty?
Yes. I was like, oh my. Yeah, I did.
The internet wins again.
Yeah.
The whole thing is fascinating.
It
The
really
fact
is.
that she did what she did and then tried to play like she was the victim because of it.
Yeah.
But like, you did it.
Yes.
It's like
Typical politician.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great.
How'd you really have to read it?
Yeah, it's good.
It is required reading.
I will do that.
I know it's very hard for you. Set aside about
There's
20
not
minutes.
pictures in this one, right?
I want to see some pictures.
Yeah, you might, or there's something on the interweb.
You too. Good to see you.
What's that?
What time are y'all?
8:15. I'm trying to figure out if everybody's teed off. Did 7:30 tee off? Are they?
Okay.
I want to do this segment. What about your boy Josh Allen? He's kind of become Dak. Actually, he throws more interceptions than Dak.
So far, he did not have a good week 1.
What do we have left on the screen there, JR? What? Right. What are those couple? The last couple spots. Great. We get to a little crying. That's perfect. We'll roll into it, even though they don't sponsor it. It's the voice of and the tears of.
So after this, whenever we start, I'll 12 minutes, and then one of us will just go into commercial, and then Jared will cut it.
Yeah.
So I'll
You're
just
running
cue.
on the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the time.
Okay.
And the crime.
12.
Which
And it doesn't
Greg
have to
should
be-
here.
And it doesn't have to be 12. It could be 10.
Okay.
If you run out of time or run out of it, you can.
We'll just say we'll be back right
Yeah.
after this, and JR will know to cut it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think we just need to just
Well, I would
pointless
say no.
banter in the dead air until it goes to commercial without anybody else.
What?
I like that.
We'll just talk. We won't even know it started. Like back in a minute, it's just like completely off the rails.
I'm gonna be like this.
I wouldn't wear
to
that
you.
one, Chris. I probably wouldn't get white today.
No, I gotta find something. Probably need some help. Yeah. It's all right.
That's cute, I think. But I'm all about the colors. So
I didn't
like
go
it.
much
I like
color
that.
today. I'm going to go more color tomorrow.
I like it.
Good to see you working today.
Oh, yeah.
What is exactly it should do here?
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. We are live again, and it's time for Misty's bag. What's in that bag?
I was waiting. I was like, I was gonna try to do the sounder.
And
Oh,
I did.
I love it. Okay, so a sport that we don't talk about a lot is like boxing, UFC. But that's a big deal for a lot of people.
Oh,
You know, they are
huge.
paying tons of money to watch these fights. So, which 2 athletes would you pay to see in a UFC fight?
Oh, I like this. It is big. You know, and what's weird is it used to be like UFC pay-per-view, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, go somewhere. It was only, it was once every few months, and there was a big deal, and you prepared for it. Now it seems like there's one every weekend.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
There's a fight every weekend. But when you start thinking about athletes, I want to throw in Rob Gronkowski, but actually Myles Garrett.
Oh yeah, he's a.
And I'd like to see Myles Garrett and LeBron James, and I would like to see Myles win. But Myles Garrett, did y'all see him? Did y'all see the highlight where he was doing these basketball moves in the air before he blew by the guy and sacked Joe Burrow last week? I'm going to go Myles Garrett and Rob Gronkowski. Steel cage match, no holds barred. Which the octagon, I guess, is already in a cage. But a steel cage match, Rob Gronkowski, Myles Garrett. That'd be pretty entertaining. Or like Simone Biles and who's another like gymnast?
Come on, Carrie Strug.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
She landed on one leg.
She did. She's a fighter.
Coming from the back on one leg, limping through.
She's a fighter.
She is. Actually, Greg Norman and Rory McIlroy. That's my final answer. whoever wins gets the Live Tour
Oh my
Championship.
God, you went a lot of different directions.
Yeah,
with
that was all kinds of.
Well, you gotta
Sports.
you gotta have a starting card, the opening card, and then the main
Okay,
event.
now we have tiers.
Hey, it's your question. Just trying to make it great.
You're right. You're right.
All right, Josh.
Well, I like your thought of LeBron James going up against somebody, but I
That
don't.
would beat him.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
It would just be, I guess, hate watch at that point. So I don't know if that's where I'd want to go. But I think what I would like to see is either something that was just truly two specimens, that like, or on the flip side, people that you think just like, I don't know how good they would be at fighting.
Like me versus Hodge.
Yeah.
Would you pay for that?
No. Well, I don't
There
know.
would be a ton of people paying for that.
As long as you just walked up and
What if I just walked up and freaking won, just KO?
Well, it's like when his
say the face.
it,
Just a bam, right
and
in the
it's like his
nose.
kids, like they would still do it today, but like even like maybe a year or so ago, you didn't know when Barrett started running to you. Is it a hug? No, maybe it's just a punch in the junk.
Well, and y'all do have to be careful with the parts.
yeah, it
so,
is.
I
So
get
who
that.
did you end up with?
Well, I don't know because we just got derailed with. I'm
Parts.
gonna go Hodge versus Aroldis Chapman.
Aroldis Chapman and Myles Garrett. True story. All right, there you go. Missy.
Dang harsh.
Yeah.
See, I'm going.
R.I.P. Hodge.
Yeah,
Didn't do that.
no kidding. You're better off fighting me. I promise. I'm going like Dennis Rodman, Ron Artest.
Oh,
wow.
Like I want to
Old-
see
old
like
school bad boys.
Yeah.
Literally, ladies and gentlemen, going back to the WCW days. Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair.
like if I'm really putting this on, I don't know, putting this out to the
Maybe get
universe.
Joe Dumont in there.
Celebrity UFC.
The funny thing about that one is you don't know what Dennis Rodman's ring attire be. It might be a wedding dress. It might be.
It has all the elements. That's why. I
Well,
wanted to
he
say
has
Dennis.
a lot of piercings too that would not be good
Oh, yeah.
for a no holds
Well,
barred
all
match.
right, sir, you need to take those out. Well, we'll have to fight tomorrow because it will take me a
right.
full day to do this.
But how entertaining would that fight be? And who do you have?
Well, do you,
Who wins that fight?
Artest, Ron Artest, no doubt.
Dennis Rodman is scrappy and
Yeah.
crazy.
But
He's-
I mean,
But-
so is Ron.
Ron
but-
Artest went into the stands and
but
has
he
fought a lot of
changed his
people,
name.
and he doesn't even know his name. He's like a wrestler.
What is his name
Meta World
currently?
Peace.
Metal World Peace. Chad Ochocinco.
He's not fighting anymore.
The other funny thing about when you mentioned those things, do y'all remember Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV?
Yes.
I do not remember that.
I mean, I don't.
It wasn't
think
real. It was cartoon characters, clay looking.
Yeah, it was like short-lived.
When did that
Obvious.
come on?
It was not short-lived. Celebrity Deathmatch. We're going to
How many
Google.
seasons
We'll
or shows?
No, we're going to look that up. All right, so Celebrity Deathmatch. But if you think about it, there was a time where they would get celebrities and athletes that would wrestle and do these different things. Do you remember there was a thing? I think it might have been the Ticket that had not celebrity, but like Tough Enough series where like you could box and fight your way to the top and
Oh yeah, they did those like fight night things. Just like
There were 93 episodes.
wow, that's a lot.
So yeah, more than I remembered.
I didn't
Over,
remember any. So
98 to 07.
okay.
One fandom, and then another one says 75. So somewhere around.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that actually is more.
Do you think, what's funny is wrestling, and one of the things that happened this past week is Endeavor bought WWE for like a ton of money, and Vince McMahon last Monday Night Raw was this last Monday, and I guess it transfers to the new owners or whatever. But, wrestling, when you
True
were growing up as a
connoisseur.
kid, huh?
You're a true connoisseur. I knew none of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Research department is big on that. But when you're growing up, you kind of got made fun of if you liked wrestling. Like there was an era back in the day, my granddad would say they would go watch wrestling at Rose Park, all these random places, and they would go watch wrestling. And then there was a period where like you were weird watching wrestling because wrestling's been around.
Oh yeah.
Well,
a
and
really
it did
long
kind
time.
of get weird. It was more obviously everything was more staged, and it was just more.
Well, now it's even
I
a
don't
bigger production.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine the amount of money that some of these guys like Terry Funk today, he's not alive, but if he was playing in this era, some of those back in the day, even Ric Flair, what would Hulk Hogan be worth in 2023, in the 2020s of wrestling? You know, they made a lot of money, but it wasn't anything like what they're making today.
Oh, no.
This is a weird derail of a segment.
No, this is a great, it's your question.
Well,
That's my point. So
No,
what
it's one of those
did you
things.
create this question?
I created
All
this
right,
question.
so what made you think of that?
Literally, I don't know. I was watching the Eagles last night, and
You thought someone needed to be punched?
yeah, and I was getting angry.
Jalen Hurts.
I was getting angry watching the Eagles, and I started thinking about the UFC and how we don't talk about it a lot. It's not something that us three are really into, but a lot of people are.
Well, and one of the guys that plays in this tournament, his nickname is like everybody else got a nickname. His nickname is Tater. He and his son love it. They're going to watch it. I mean, they're going to make sure. And like I said, UFC used to be such a big deal. I mean, it still is.
Oh,
I mean,
you wanted to avoid being at an establishment, that was showing that fight on because
Right.
the place would just suddenly be packed.
And they may charge you more because they had to pay for all that.
Yeah,
They might have a cover charge. But what's funny is we talk about that and wrestling being one thing, but like boxing was huge when we were growing up.
Yeah.
It was Mike Tyson. It was Evander Holyfield
Well,
biting
even-
off the
even
ear.
before that, it was.
Well, I mean, wait, I'm just talking the people we watch.
Yeah.
And then like boxing is like trying to make a little bit of a comeback, but for the most part, it's faded away and it's all about MMA.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just angry watching the Birds last night.
Angry
Yeah,
Birds.
and they should have
Yeah.
lost. They should have lost,
Gosh.
but they did.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
Anyway, so all right, guys, we're gonna head in. We're gonna move into the Coleman County State Bank 8 o'clock hour. If you need a house, look up ColemanBank.com. We'll be heading into the 8 o'clock hour. Hodge hopefully hit some fairways, a lot of greens. Misty, Josh, and the world famous Greg Austin going to be joining
Yeah.
the Hodge Pack. A lot of fun. We'll be back. They'll be back 8 o'clock hour starting now.
Slight delay.
I was like,
All right,
thank
JR,
God
everything
Greg's
off.
here.
Are we
Alright.
starting now? I don't know.
The delay started. I figured it all goes to hell. You know what I'm saying?
We like it.
Too, brother. Good to see you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
What's up, buddy?
Nada. Gonna go give this a
How
whirl.
are you there? Good. Yes, good seeing you. Yes, ma'am.
Y'all take care of all of it and shut that. There's a box for that, and then just put it in the coach's office, the other office. Hey, at what point are we gonna be able to announce that we're doing the news?
Anytime.
I think we need to find.
We'll be there in 3 weeks, one or the other.
Nice.
Two more, yeah. Probably 2 more shows and then you get them all. Awesome.
Woohoo.
All right, I'm out. Y'all enjoy. I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
Let's go to some fairways and greens. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Is somebody else's phone?
Yes.
I don't know what we're doing. I'm literally just a wingman.
We love
I
it.
don't know what we're doing.
We don't either. Yeah. I'm keeping time, or somebody, but I can. He said just 12-minute keep time, and then JR will tell us when we're coming back.
1, 2, 1, 2. What does he do here?
I think he was just using that maybe as a timer, but
Oh, I see what you're saying.
but
We're
we'll,
connected to that. Where's your JR at?
he.
JR. Yeah. What are you
That-
doing, buddy?
There we go.
I'm just out here working.
Hey, I'm just filling in a little bit here, bro.
That's what I hear. Don't screw it up now. Don't
You know that's gonna happen. You'll be ready for it. Okay, second.
Second hour. We'll probably go in with Dallas Cowboy Talk.
3 minutes here,
Okay, buddy.
before we get back.
All right.
Yeah, we'll probably come back. Hey, we're coming back. Dallas Cowboy Talk. More week one stuff because we skipped that.
Whatever.
Yeah, week one recap. Nuh-uh.
Yes, you are.
Nuh-uh.
Hey, do you just speakerphone this to hear JR and then take it off or something?
No, it's Josh's phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's just there, and
It's
then we'll
plugged in.
keep time.
What are you hearing in these?
Huh?
What are you hearing in these?
them. You can talk to JR.
Okay, yeah.
On there.
JR's there.
Huh?
And then we'll keep time, and then, okay, yeah.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
See you, bro.
Bye. We'll come back.
You tee off.
Week
8:15.
Week one recap. Then Greg's here and we can talk about the looking so good in your Cowboys attire.
Honestly, I had to be a little
You
supportive of the
gotta
boys.
represent. Yeah, I love it.
Well, we start off going to win the Super Bowl every year.
Yep, that's right. That's
Everybody's
where,
a fan right now.
yep, that's where the fans are right now. So
How you doing, buddy? How's that ball?
That's getting better.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, it's definitely getting better.
That's good.
it looks good. Like, you know, it looks less
Yeah,
and like red or
it's
less
Yeah,
swollen.
you don't
Looks
look
good.
like you've been on a 3-day bender, just a 2
Yeah.
day now, right?
yeah, exactly.
I'll have him put cards out. Or how are we doing? Are we good right now?
Everyone from 9:15 is
Good, we're good.
Man, I've got a cousin you were talking about at UFC, Austin Lingo. You have to look him up. He's a UFC fighter.
Misty, you just ain't paying him close up on that Facebook page.
I thought I wasn't on camera.
Yeah,
What am
it's
I doing?
right in your
What
face.
the heck? This one?
It was like you went towards it.
Oh
Ain't
my
nobody
God.
taking it. Ain't nobody taking
Great.
it. Own it, Misty.
Great.
Own it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Oh my gosh.
We don't have any way of recording that, do we?
Oh,
Can we
not.
go back and find that?
No, we don't need to. That's
are.
hilarious. I did not know I was on camera. I wouldn't have gone all in on it. Too late now.
At least you weren't picking your nose. Could be worse.
That's funny. Now I'm like gonna back up. I'm like, can you see me?
Yes.
He moved the cameras. He
No,
must
that's
have.
like, it's right. I could like,
Where's Josh at?
I'm not on camera, I don't guess.
That's funny. Well,
It's fine to be on camera.
Tell
I
me
don't
when you're
wanna
ready
be
to
on
roll,
camera. All right.
Who's bringing us back? Am I bringing us back?
Greg, you bringing us?
I'll bring us back, then y'all can.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you start Josh on week one recap.
1069 The Country Giant. It's the Hodge Pack Friday morning. Greg Austin stepping up, stepping in. What am I even doing up this time of the morning?
I don't know. You usually work a little bit later in the
Yeah.
day.
We
I'm not-
love it though. I
What?
love when you're here. We get to derail all the things.
Yeah, I say. Speaking of derailing, I'm pretty proud of my first 9. My score wasn't bad out there. And then-
Got it in before the sun
yeah,
came
I
up.
did. Yeah, I did. I was really proud of my score. I thought I was playing the front 9, and that little cheat card you got, I was actually on the back 9.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it helped out.
Yeah, when it showed it dog leg, it actually was the other way. So I'm really proud.
Well, that's good. All right,
And I
so
was proud of
we've
it.
already come off the rails.
I love
completely.
Yeah, we already got. We
That
already
is
got.
that we like about getting rid of Hodge. It's like it's not that we get off the rails any worse. It's just we don't get dirty looks.
It's like when
Well-
mom and dad are on vacation
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah,
at
that's
home
right.
and you're planning a party,
Hap-
big
yeah.
rager.
Happy Gilmore going on out there today. I got to tell you, speaking of derailing, boy, the Dallas Cowboys uprooted
Yeah, they did derail
the New York
the
Giants.
New
the
York
other night.
Giants.
Oh, I loved every second of it.
And that was a real pro segue into our next
It
segment. I mean, and
Well,
that's
thank
what,
you. Thank you
that's
guys
why
for-
we have him here because he is a pro.
Yes.
But we do want to talk about the Cowboys and what they did last week in New York. Big opening night of football, which just got off the Cowboys' way and never looked back. You know, it was at the end of that, you know, rainy, expectedness of the Giants made even worse by everyone being soaking wet. And the image of that game for me was Daniel Jones with the rubber pellet field turf stuff on his face, sitting on the sidelines with this just look of like,
Did you love
Shock.
it or did you kind of start to feel sorry for him towards the end? What was your feeling for Daniel?
Well, I mean, he does play for the Giants, so yeah, but I still kind of did feel sorry. I mean, I obviously happy about the way things went. You know, you talk about wanting Dak to get off to a good start, and that happened. The defense put them in good situations all game. You know, from special teams blocks the field goal. You know, they had good return game all game. It's really one of those things that's I think as a coach, it might make your job a little bit more difficult because you got to go in this week and convince them that like they're not all going to be.
Oh,
Well, that's ever so
absolutely.
true.
So, any takeaways that you have, Misty? I mean, what was your favorite moment of that football game?
I mean, I love that it was a shutout. But I did start feeling bad for Daniel Jones towards the end. Just, I don't know, just as an athlete, we've all been on both sides of that. I know that feeling of winning and then just getting the crap beat out of you. But obviously, as a team in our division, I just loved it. I was just relishing in it. Stayed up, watched everything. I mean, I knew obviously we were going to win, but I had to see everything. Defense just on top per usual. That we've seen. Micah Parsons just in everybody. I mean, there were so many sacks. Like, I just hope that we can build on this momentum. And I think, still, I hope that just because Aaron Rodgers is out now, that I hope that mentality doesn't change for the Cowboys. Like, oh, he's gone. Like, this is going to be an easy game, because we know what the Cowboys do and they play like crap. And that they can carry that momentum into this week's game. And just, I would love another total domination.
That is this a sign of times? It used to be mud and grass on your face, and now it's the rubber pellets.
Rubber pellets, right?
What are we dealing with here, Josh?
Well, that leads to another point of contention. We talked about Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, and people saying that turf is not good for you as far as those type of things.
But, I was wondering about that, and on another level. But a couple of weeks ago out there at Hugh Sandifer Stadium, I was at the game, and of course, it looked like an infirmary on the sidelines. We had like 8 kids on crutches. Do you think
everyone's playing on that turf? And I don't know. I'm definitely not a doctor or a scientist, but people do think that. Well, maybe.
Shocking news. Josh is not. He's not a doctor.
Very narrow field of expertise. I haven't found what it is yet, but someday. But really I talked about kind of jokingly that for this game, but as far as the defense goes. And Micah Parsons on another level than most human.
He's a unicorn.
And so I think as far as the motivation for them, losing Aaron Rodgers going out definitely makes you feel like there's more of more of an opportunity to continue the the winning streak, whatever or make it a winning streak, I guess.
Well, 2 games in a row is a winning streak.
Yes, we have to make it.
If you're the Dallas Cowboys,
we win 2 in a row. It's 2 in a row. I'm proud of that.
More of an opportunity to win, kind of takes a little bit of the this was the Fox game of the week that's coming up,
sure.
The 3:25 time slot, so there was a lot of hype, for this game. Aaron Rodgers being out takes a little bit of it away, but I do think that if you're that defense and you're wanting to prove how good you are, I don't think there's going to be any let up at all, whether it's Zach Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think that they're there they went out.
Oh, absolutely.
And no one wants to be the guy that makes the mistake that leads to the first points being given up for the season. So there's got to be a lot of internal pressure as far as that goes. And obviously they're good enough to kind of back that up. So we'll get to see that again. And they're going to give up some touchdowns. I mean, it's going to happen. Just hopefully it's not this week and not too many.
As a coach and as a fan, you always want to peak right at the right time.
Right.
Whether it be playoff time, district play. And you always wonder if the Cowboys starting off like that, how do you top that as a coach? How do you come out? We were talking about Coach Prime a while ago, but, as the Dallas Cowboys, are they peaking now? Are we going to fall off? Let's hope like.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but at least it was a division opponent, so we don't just have a win, but we have a division win on the road, so that definitely bodes well.
Only thing better would have been if it was against the Eagles.
Absolutely.
I mean, against the Giants, don't get me wrong, but if it was against the Eagles, it would have been even better.
So going into this second week, obviously Aaron Rodgers out. So that I'm going to be honest with you. I'm wearing my Dallas Cowboy gear today, but I was a little worried about this coming week.
Well, going into the season, yes. I mean, there was so much hype with New York, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the New York defense is the other defense in the NFL. With the Cowboys and the Jets are the two that people 1A/B situation as far as like who's the best. So there's a lot on the line as far as that goes. Just the pride factor on that side. Is the Jets defense good enough to keep them in a game with Zach Wilson as their quarterback? So they're going to want to step it up, and they did step it up big time against Josh Allen, which it is interesting. We've been, out of the closet Bills fans, I guess, for for a little bit, as the team that I cheer for, the conference there. But he's in a spot that he needs to fix something.
He even knows. He talked about it post game. He's like, I keep forcing it. I did this last year, and it's like, Josh, you know what you're doing. Cool. There were so many. I'm like, we just needed a few. Well, I say we, like I am a Bills fan. You only need a few yards and you're throwing it 20 and threading the needle and then an interception. I just don't understand what that play call is, or if he just on a whim. I don't understand what's going on with Josh Allen right now.
And, that's one of those things that, as Cowboys fans, we've given, Dak's gotten a lot of press on how he can step up. And we talked about his interception proneness, and things like that. And it kind of, I don't know that Josh Allen gets a pass, but people still put him in that top inner circle of quarterbacks. But, he's got problems too. And so now I guess this week we get to see defense that made Josh Allen look stupid, against the Cowboys, and what is Dak doing that? So there's still a lot on the line in this game. And, if what Josh Allen threw, what was it, 4 interceptions?
Yes.
So, obviously not many teams are going to win giving up the ball that many times. So even with Zach Wilson, you still got to make sure we take care of the ball, or give them short fields and allow them to score, and it obviously could go the wrong way. So I'm still looking forward to watching the game. Definitely am pumped about where the Cowboys started, but it's not something that we can just completely relax just because Aaron Rodgers isn't under center.
And a lot of folks were looking at Zach Wilson as the potential, future quarterback.
Yeah, he was that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
And
so,
he hasn't stepped up yet, but that he was a firm is still there. Is what unlocked that potential. And honestly, if there's anything that could encourage you to do so, be that motivation, it's the fact that they went out and got Aaron Rodgers. We're like, oh, you're the backup now. It's
sure.
like now he's forced back into that starter role. So does he take that step and show them that, hey, we don't need to go outside of the organization. I'm ready to go here. So it's definitely something to look for.
Definitely a chance of a lifetime. And when you're speaking of, it's about time to go to breaks. But before we go to break, you're talking about Josh Allen and his interceptions, Dak being prone to interceptions. Is it aggressive play, or do you think a lot of the times it's just inconsistency with the pass?
I think it's being aggressive. I think it's trying to a lot of the interceptions Dak threw last year were just throwing into tight coverage, or maybe not making the correct read as to where he's going. So I think a lot of times that is just when there's not the window that you need to go through.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But how about the Lions over the Chiefs?
Unbelievable.
I did not think the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Bills would all lose week 1. My picker was way off. I am down. I have to redeem myself this week. And then Tua coming out and the Dolphins winning. I mean, I don't know. It was just wild this week. I loved it.
No, it always is fun, making the picks and watching what's going on, and obviously we have a good time with it, but sometimes it's just stuff just comes out of nowhere. The Chiefs especially were one of those games that I would say if whatever pick 'em you were in, 90 percentile went Chiefs in that game, and a lot was made about the asterisk call at the end with Mike Tirick on it, and I think that's just a stupid call. I mean, because you play the game that's before you. Injuries are part of the game.
Right.
Holdouts are part of the game. And really, if your best defensive player is not on the field because he's holding out, you can't use that as an excuse. I mean, you had all offseason to work that out.
Right.
So obviously the Cowboys had a holdout with Zach Martin. They got it done. He was there on day one and ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, I think it's time for us to go to commercial break. So thank you for listening to the Hodge Pack. We're going to go, pay the bills, as they say, and we'll be back here in a moment on 106.9.
All right, buddy.
I'm going to go to the bathroom. Okay, what are we doing? Are we doing knowing or what's next?
That's,
What time is it?
We got 2 segments
So we'll
left.
do picks.
2.5. We're kind of at a weird time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
You nailed it, man.
Your
You're
segue
seriously.
was really perfect. That segue of talking about like
Man, I just have to wing it because I love sports, but I can't obviously hang with you guys on that level. So it's a little intimidating to come in and know. I mean, y'all know it, you know. I don't. I know just enough to be dangerous, so I have to fill in with a little humor every now and then. Man, that was amazing last week when you brought up Hagler.
Appreciate it, man. Hey,
When you
thanks
brought up
again.
Hagler.
Mhm.
I was just with Hagler the night before, and I do some other things with Hagler, and he's just a stand-up.
Yeah, he's just good,
guy, man.
good dude. Yeah.
Good as gold. So it's ironic that you brought him up that next morning.
You're down
Hey, 'cause this is the guy when he's filling in right here.
I would,
Yeah,
other than I've got to tee it
He's
up.
too
How you
busy.
doing, man?
Much too busy. The sun's coming out though.
Dude, it's
What's the rain later?
I think there's a little bit this afternoon, but I see what.
Okay, so we'll come back with knowing it's half the battle.
All the way down.
Yeah, we can do that, or we got picks for the last segment. So we got knowing is half the battle, and we got to do something else. If we could do college football, what? We got to do one more segment. College football is what's on the sheet, but
Which, yeah, we kind of did that when
we kind of already talked
right.
about
We'd
it.
already did that with Hodge.
But yeah, because Hodge went off script and then
Yeah.
just left us with the ashes.
Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Billy. Good morning, Sharon. My brother Ron.
Aw,
Ron, Mr.
love it.
Hodge Pack.
The Hodge Daddy.
The Hodge Pack
Hodge
Daddy.
Pack
I
Daddy.
like that. That sounds like an email.
You might be some of the ones sending in the
That
emails.
right. That's right.
All right, take it easy. Play well.
Surely y'all can hold it down without Hodge.
We're already derailing.
Maybe have a smooth.
That's one good thing about filling in for Hodge. He's never here. When I fill in, you know Hodge is out.
Do we want to talk about any like I don't know, what did we do before, or like simmer down, crazy things? What else could we talk about?
Biggest news from last week,
Or like
let's do overreactions.
overreaction,
Sports overreactions.
like
for
a
last week.
overreaction. Okay, because we can all come up with
Yeah.
one, and it can be college or just sports overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, timer. When
That's
so
perfect.
I'll show you here and there like we did.
What always happens is it's like 2 minutes
All right,
out.
here. Thank you, buddy.
It's 2-3 minutes out, and I think I don't know what we're going to talk about for the next 3 minutes, and then it's always like, oh well, now we're out of time.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
For a second, I'm like kind of nervous, and then it just always seems to be like,
it always works out.
If we run out of time, just always go to spots.
Yep. Yeah. If it starts getting stagnant.
That's the best crutch in the world.
well, yeah, because
Well, I'm like, at the very end, like, what are we doing for the
did
weekend?
you
What's
do your
going
picks
on?
already? Did Hodge send you those?
We can get them on just live. Bam, bam, bam.
I'll just, yeah.
Here's the games we're picking if you want.
It was.
We're on broadcast live with a Hodge Pack on a Friday morning out here at Fairway Oaks, the Fairway 500. This thing's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, I don't know how long, but yes, a long time. I think they take offense to being called Fairway now, though. You got to be more politically correct.
It's
It's the
just
Abilene Country Club South.
500.
Oh yeah.
Why
Yeah,
is
well,
it called the
500.
500?
I have no idea.
Does anyone know the history? I would like to know the history of the
Um,
500.
I was told it was because it used to be on the same weekend as the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, okay.
I have no way of verifying that, so if I'm wrong, well, so
Well, we got
free
Dr.
info.
Google out there.
Free
We can
info.
always rely on the.
Oh, yeah. We could rely on the Google.
Yeah,
So like
Google's
190,
overrated.
192 teams are here. Is what's
Yeah,
that
a lot
right?
of people playing golf.
I mean, if we could just throw a Scrabble together real fast, you and I go up there in our cowboy boots.
Might
Wouldn't that
slip.
be something?
I'll be
It's
in
a
the
little-
gallery.
It's a little wet.
I'll
Yeah,
be cheering you from
Missy's-
afar. I'll be
Missy's
cheering.
part of our team.
Not-
Nor am I, but I think I can hang with some of these guys. You know,
Surely.
Yeah, just put us in. Yeah, just
Yeah,
go
my
ahead,
first
step
9
in.
went well enough. I'm surprised I didn't get drafted out there.
Well, maybe,
I am
maybe
available. You know, if somebody's looking for a fill-in, just come on over. Well, we can negotiate price.
well, I guess so.
It would definitely
Yeah.
be fun
So-
having one of us on the team.
Yes, it would. With the microphone
Well,
all
that-
throughout the.
Just go like live feed the
Yeah,
entire
just
time.
the whole time and get
Yeah.
in the carts.
Gotta,
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to get close enough to get the swish like on TV. then
Oh,
hear
yeah,
the
you gotta
ball.
hear it.
So it might be a little dangerous.
And then the breaking glass afterwards.
Whoa, boy!
Like,
Man.
heads up. But so now that we've continued our habit of just pointless banter that people
Well,
are apparently listening to,
I've
maybe
made a living
if they
doing
haven't
that.
shut off the radio
Yeah,
by
they love
now,
it.
they're getting closer to the dial. It's like maybe we're going to switch over to no, don't switch. Stay right here.
What do they got to say next? Well,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
have-
train wreck. You
it
can't
is a
look
train
away.
wreck. No, you can't. And it leads at 6.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
so you
You-
never know what's going to
You
happen.
got a
on the
rubber
hot track.
neck at the flashing lights on the side of the
Well,
road.
that's right.
So
Causing more wrecks.
yeah, but anyway, so like we talked about what some things that happened with the Cowboys game and how exciting that was, and I want to kind of looking back at the sports week last week, what is your biggest surprise? Like, what's something like make an overreaction, make a bold overreaction statement from sports last week. Misty, we'll start with you.
Ooh, an overreaction. I mean, I feel like the obvious would be, Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I will say there was, I don't know what I was watching or listening to, but it may have been Terry that picked the Jets and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Well, I'm going to say that his pick has probably changed how Aaron Rodgers is out. But everybody was like, there's no way. Of course, we're going back with Chiefs and Eagles, a repeat.
Mhm.
And I could totally see that as a repeat, but I'm my overreaction is because I am a diehard Cowboys fan, is that the Dallas Cowboys will make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So that's the overreaction. They're going to make it and they are going to win the Super Bowl this year. This is our year.
I am a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Have been since Too Tall Jones, Randy White.
Oh, yeah.
Right, as we all are. I think the overreaction is Dallas shutting out Giants. Unfortunately, I think that the Cowboys are going to struggle come midseason, and I hate to say that, but I think the
So
overreaction.
you're the
is
opposite of
You're the
direction.
I am I think
You're the realist.
We're always going to the Super Bowl the first week.
Yeah.
We're all,
That's why I got to overreact.
yeah. So I think my overreaction is the underreaction. If I could do a little,
He's like a
360
dog that's been timed. You
Yeah.
move, and he's like just like kind of
That's
flinch.
right.
Like
Am I going? Am I not? Yes,
Yeah.
I am. But I am 199% with Misty. But I just think that's the overreaction.
It
Okay.
definitely is. Absolutely. Spoken like a true diehard, though.
Yeah.
It's always our year. But yeah, definitely overreaction.
Facebook Live can't see I am one of my Cowboys gear. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm not,
I mean, he's rocking the
I was-
polo.
I was
It's
really
like-
gonna wear-
It's like classy and
He
yeah.
literally looks like he could be on the sideline coaching. I'm loving
Well,
this.
I know with the headset and everything.
Speaking
like-
of coaching, let's talk about Mike McCarthy calling the plays.
unbelievable.
So
I think that
that is something that we should chat about. Thoughts on, I mean, obviously it was a total domination, but thoughts on how different that's going to be with McCarthy leading that this year.
Well, yeah, and it is a totally different offensive scheme. It's the same people, but McCarthy runs more of the classic West Coast offense, as they call it. So it more efficient passing. Kind of shorter of the passing game, not as necessarily as much stretching the field. It's hard to even get a gauge on it though after that last game. The defense did so well of putting the offense in good places that you didn't really need that just steady, sustained drive to make the where that next movement of the chains was really important to the flow of the game. So yeah, it went well. But it's and I'm happy to see, obviously the 40-0 shutout, but I didn't see the offense as far as like really break it down to where I could say like, oh yeah, this is going to work. So that's still kind of on the table, I guess, for this week. But
that's a great.
So far, so good.
That's a great topic to bring up, and I'll tell you, growing up sports, of course, as we all see it back in the day, it was was you had a wide receiver standing next to the cut and play out,
Mhm.
and then it went to signals and signs, and on the sidelines doing signals and signs, so the team across the way doesn't catch you. But I'm proud to see McCarthy calling the plays, and I'll tell you why. A lot of these coaches get to where they're at, whether you're an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and you make it up to the head coach position. Then what do? You got yourself there by being good at that, and then you put someone else in place.
Right.
So I'm a fan of seeing a head coach be more involved and do the hands-on playing.
No, I agree with that completely. That's something that is an interesting point.
Misty
Mike-
does a
Mike
great job, and
McCarthy-
then Greg's going to call the plays. Well, Misty's the one that got herself there.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy got to where he was because he was a play caller. You know,
and
Sure.
I had kind of been giving him some flack. You know, we talked about a couple years ago, should he be fired? And I was kind of on that train as a disheartened Cowboys fan. And I have to say, I'm like, okay, like, I think this is going to work. I think that this is going to benefit Dak and his a quarterback. You know, I look at Dak Prescott and think he's an air it out quarterback. He's a short, quick, run a slant out and curl whatever. So I'm excited because I do think that this type of play could really kind of catapult, you know, and have level up, I guess, is kind of the term I always say for Dak. I think he's going to be able to really shine once they nail it down.
Oh, I agree with that. And I also think that Tony Pollard is a good back for the system because they do rely on throwing to running backs quite a bit in the traditional, like, West Coast type offense. And, you know, Pollard is very good in space.
He had a great game.
Great game.
You know, so he is a good guy to have back there for that system. So and he's on my fantasy team. No one likes to talk about other people's fantasy teams, but I'm
Good.
happy that I picked
Good
him
call.
up.
Absolutely.
So,
Good Lord.
and I think that he's going to have a big season as a result of that. You know, but and in general, you know, we talked about there's been a ton of overreaction as far as ball goes, and Coach Prime doing what we mentioned that where I don't think if you had a pool on where game day was going to be this week, you wouldn't have said Boulder, Colorado, 2 weeks ago, but
Right.
but here we are with that. But I'm gonna since Hodge isn't here, I'm gonna take this opportunity to step back into the weeds just a little bit because I'm still in baseball mode. I know that football's in full stream, and once that happens, baseball kind of falls to the wayside a little bit around here. But here we are. The Rangers still within striking distance of the division, half game out with just a little bit left. We talked about that. But for all the real baseball fans out there, this last week, what I'm going to overreact to is the call up of Evan Carter to the Rangers. Rookie he's been up for 1 week. And he's smooth 350. Has thrown out a couple guys from the outfield, has 2 stolen bases. So I'm going to overreact and say that since he'll still be rookie eligible next year, that Evan Carter will be the rookie of the year in 2024. So that's my my hot take overreaction for the last week of sports. So if you're able to kind of dig a little deeper as a Rangers fan, look into that guy. He is definitely solid.
I like it.
And Hodge doesn't ever let me go in the weeds on baseball. He changes the subject.
It's kind of like, I feel like it's like what we do to him when he tries to geek out off. We're like, next.
Yeah. It's exactly the same
We
thing.
don't care.
He cuts me off on baseball. I cut him off on
It's
golf.
called intimidation on Hodge's
it's
part.
like,
when you get on the
just
Rangers,
like,
yes.
move along.
Yeah.
I don't even know who these guys are. He's talking
To watch it go down, and Hodge gets there in the headlight look, and it's great.
It
Never gets
It is great.
It is great. And it's always great to be a part of you guys as we're out here at the, once again, the Abilene Country Club Fairway 500. Is that
Yes.
fair enough?
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. Hey, we had some inclement weather earlier. These guys are out there today rolling the balls around on that wet grass. Does it, really affect the putting, you think?
I'm sure it does.
Surely. I mean,
gotta-
surely it does.
You got to hit it a little harder, you think, And
No,
I
it would
had-
definitely cut the roll on drives and stuff like that, to, like, land a little softer.
And speaking of drives, I wonder if a hole-in-one counts. Like when I was on T-Box 2 earlier, I had a real nice slice to the left, and it went in the hole on par 3 on the
Yeah, the wrong hole.
I love it.
But that's still a hole-in-one.
It's your scorecard. I mean,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Come on. And speaking of scorecard, it's time to go to the scorecard, pay some bills as the Hodge Pack is out broadcasting live at the Abilene Country Club Fairway 500. underway. The guys are going off, and we're going to go off into commercials. College, high school, and some NFL on the Hodge Pack. 169, the Country Giant. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna grab a bite to eat.
All right, brother. Thank you, buddy.
See, we got this. We got it.
And y'all got it.
We're just rolling.
I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to say next when this comes up? I mean, can I borrow that pen real fast?
Well, that's why I was like, I'm going to bring up McCarthy, and because that's
Oh,
a
you did-
big topic
yes, that
about
was
him.
huge.
But I thought he did good. Clock management. I mean, everything looked pretty good.
Mhm. No, he actually did.
That sheet Hodge made, he left. Well,
Was this for Swales?
no. It's for you.
Oh, I can put mine right here.
He just he put Colts Texans on there, but we're not doing that game. We're doing Wiley still.
Okay.
So
Okay, so picks
I think I'm
next.
going to-
Then we'll do knowing is half the battle to finish.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that.
Oh, we're done. Time to go to commercial.
Yeah, because we got a segment for picks, commercial.
Then yeah,
just gonna,
and then
just gonna make fun of Hodge. I told him I was gonna roast him.
there you go. And
Good catch that. Was it?
yeah,
I just left Wiley Ag Barn whenever he was doing that for us. Man, does anyone, and I'm going to follow up on this to see how Elliott done last week.
Oh, I never did look for.
Nor did I, but I intended to.
Yeah.
I didn't even see any highlight reels, so I was just wondering how well it went.
Yeah, his name never got to actually look at what he got.
So we'll turn that off a second. So go back to the all the way there. I think it's just squared away.
everybody's shoes.
I hand that to you, or I'll just read it to you.
Just yeah.
I'm a rookie at this, brother.
It's all right.
You know, it's kind of like the Bulldogs. You know, they had 16 yards of offense first half last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Just
defense came, was really strong, and then they started moving the ball the second half. But what do we do with the stuff when we're done? Put it in the office, you say?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Said something, but I really was.
Yeah, he said to. Yeah, basically,
Here's,
and then I think just leave it in the office, and he'll get it.
Okay, sweet.
He'll get it later. Yeah, I'm really hoping this rain holds off. Yeah, they've got Wade Bowen, I think, tomorrow night out here.
mm-hmm.
So
Oh, on the big stage out
yeah,
there?
that big stage. Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm supposed to come to that. I guess if it's not raining.
Yeah.
By the way, y'all were correct. The IndyCar 500 was the season.
It was? Okay.
Indianapolis, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
They moved it off there.
Man, we always- Good job, Josh, buddy.
4 years ago. So
Cool. Yeah, I was like, are there 500 teams? Does this thing go for so many
500
days in a
days.
row? Yeah, like
yeah.
I just wasn't sure. My first thought was maybe, yeah, it's like 500 for the course of days, but that would be insane. I mean, already insane at 192. Is this, I mean, the biggest tournament that y'all have? Yeah. Does it stay about 192 every year? Or do y'all have room for more?
So this was the first year. Last year we did. It was like right over 300 players, and this one just under 400 players, I think. So
Oof.
it increased it almost a.
Dang. So
almost
y'all have already,
100.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and of course,
Funny, get up.
bad week. West Texas Fair and Rodeo
Uh,
rain.
What's that, buddy?
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
Here we go.
Okay.
The Hodge Pack out and about on a Friday morning out here at the Abilene Country Club Fairway 500. There's like 192 teams in this deal.
That's
That's
a lot of people playing golf.
That's a bunch of
have nothing better to do on a Friday. You can't go to play golf.
absolutely.
Maybe
So
I should
just-
take up playing golf more. It
Oh,
sounds
we
like a
really
good trade.
should.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's start going to the Kentucky and playing golf.
Remember,
yes,
we said that like 2 years
yeah,
ago,
we
and
failed miserably.
we did fail miserably.
I looked at it a little bit. It was very expensive.
It is.
I was like, yeah, I'm out.
It is. I just wanted to go to wear a big hat.
Yeah, well, that is important. But I thought my kids do need to wear shoes to school.
I
There's,
guess I could wear a big hat here.
there's a big Titleist hat right over there I can go get for you.
It's not big enough. It's got to be like pretty and
Well,
pink and lacy.
I'm also enamored by. I've never noticed this before. I haven't paid much attention. But these women's golf bags that have matching like purses, like is that? I guess that's a thing.
I guess so. I will say the fashion of golf is what I'm more into than actually swinging a club.
Okay, so you just want to look like.
I just want to look cute and drive around in a cart all day.
Okay.
Each sport has its own look,
Mhm.
and it makes you wonder. Like volley players obviously have their little outfits they wear, and then you go to the tennis court.
Yeah, there's.
What does it make you wonder? How did that precedent get set back in the day?
Yeah, I really don't know. One thing I've thought about. You mentioned volleyball that I think is just funny. If a high school student wore that to school, they would be kicked straight on out.
Boom.
But yeah, you go put that on to go on the volleyball court, and that's just like.
Well, they
I
gotta make
agree
them
with you
look
totally.
cute, or nobody's gonna watch
I mean,
it.
but it's just.
Let's be real.
It doesn't even meet dress code, but.
No, it doesn't. You get-
But
No one will watch unless they're cute.
that's what's wrong with the WNBA.
Exactly.
There you go.
Bring in
Golly.
some skimpy
I
shorts,
never knew this.
little crop tops.
Yeah.
Ratings will go up. I guarantee you.
Yes, I agree
I
with
guess
it.
what is that?
So
And
I-
I'm a woman saying that. I get it, and I agree.
So you got like
they
a
have
jockey's
the or whatever. I've seen that on ESPN at times too. Like
Yeah.
But it's
helmet, shoulder
amazing.
pads,
Yeah.
and bikinis.
Yeah.
But it's kind of amazing if folks think they have to wear the attire to fit the part. I think
Yeah,
sometimes.
you do.
If you're a jockey that rides a big horse, you got to have that little round
Oh,
hat
well,
on.
yeah,
you know?
those hats are definitely important.
Yeah.
And you can only weigh like 90 pounds or something if you're a jockey.
Yeah.
I could not do it either. I obviously weigh more than 90 pounds, but
I
like
weighed 90
those
pounds at
people are
birth.
tiny. Tiny.
When you talk about golf attire, it seems like anytime that I happen to have a polo shirt and shorts on, someone was like, "You've been playing golf?" Like, no,
This is just like my look.
I was just wearing this. But anyway,
Yeah.
we really do have to get to our picks. It's kind of
Yeah,
let's do it.
We
Yeah.
have listeners that actually try to compete, and I say try to compete. They're doing better than me
And me.
but we're not. I was going to actually mention the leaderboard on pick props, and I decided I didn't want to do that.
No, it's worth the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime
So I'm not
we're on
going to mention
top, yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
who's beating me.
No, exactly.
And unfortunately, one that I do have to mention that is ahead of me in the standings is Molly, who did beat Coach Wardis in week 1. Last week, our Talon came in to make picks, and she actually did very well. So I do have to give our official celebrity picker last week did beat Molly. She is smarter than a 5th grader. Beat her by one pick, but she went 9-1, and Molly went 8-2. So
That's awesome.
pretty. That Bama game got a lot of people. So
it got
that
me.
we it did me too.
I
But
kind
this
of have a
week,
problem with this, not talking about your picks, because my bracket back in the day, y'all sure didn't mind roasted me when I was.
well, we'll
man.
get to roast you next week.
Okay, there we go.
Because
Yeah.
our celebrity guest appearance picker is the voice of country music here at the
You're
at
too kind.
106.
Greg Austin.
Greg
You're too
Austin. So going with this week's picks, we got 3 high school games, few college games, and some NFL games. It's not a big college football weekend as far as like marquee matchups, but there are some marquee matchups. One happening, well, hopefully, I've heard that rain might be an issue with Albany and Holly, but 2 very highly ranked teams on the smaller school side here going at it. It's a home game for Holly. If they get to play it there, I've heard it might be moved
Well,
somewhere else.
I was just saying, go to Wiley if you want to.
They might play at Wiley. And I would say if your team's traveling out of town and you're looking for a football game, I would make sure and find where that one is, because it should be worth the price of admission. But we'll start with you, Greg. Who do you have in that Holly Albany matchup?
I'll tell you, I've I've got Albany of all things. I followed the last couple of years. Wiley would get put out of the playoffs. I'd follow Holly all the way to Jerry's World and watch him play in the last 2 years. But Albany, they're just on a roll. I love my Holly Bearcats, but I've got Albany.
All right, Misty.
This one is really tough.
It is a tough decision.
I kind of went back and forth, but I am going with Holly.
All right.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. I will not be shocked if Albany wins, but I'm going to go with the Bearcats.
But Hodge went with Albany as well, so you share one with that. And,
How lucky you.
Can I change it?
And Molly and I both picked Holly as well, so that's we'll see how that goes. But that's a definitely one to watch for. And the other, with our next game, the first time on our list this year, we got the Cooper Cougars taking on Lubbock Coronado. Hodge and I both picked Cooper. Molly picked Coronado. Where do y'all land on this one?
A good Cougar, so I'm going for Cooper.
I love a good Cougar as well. Good.
I bet you do.
So we can't talk.
I got very excited there.
I got a new tongue. I ain't got a trade yet. I actually went with the Abilene Cougar.
Okay, all right. And then in our next game, sticking with the hometown flavor we got here, is Wiley going to Stephenville to take on, what is it, the Yellow Jackets? That's the Stephenville Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
That's right.
Went brain dead for a second.
Well, this is always a tough game every year.
It is. And two programs that historically been pretty good. Wiley has struggled a bit with the move up, but they're they've righted the ship as of the past couple years. So Hodge, Molly, and myself all went with Wiley. Who do y'all have in that one?
I hate to go against Wiley, but I've got Stephenville.
Stephenville. Well, I'm going to be at that game tonight, and obviously, go Dogs.
And I figured y'all all would. I've got to be.
I got to get a leg up on it.
I got to be different.
Here's the thing I've learned though about making picks. If you make your pick based on thinking you're gonna that's being cute, and when you're cute, it might sell tickets to a volleyball game, but it's not.
It will sell the tickets.
It won't win in pick'em.
No, but a tire will sell tickets to a game. We know that.
So now we move into the college ranks. Just kind of one of those old rivalries here, the SEC. One of the few games that is kind of a marquee name. We've got Tennessee going to the Swamp to take on the Florida Gators. Who do you have in that one, Greg?
I have Tennessee.
Okay.
Greg's the only 10 I see. So
look at her go.
Tennessee.
All right, well that's across the board, Tennessee in that one. Then we've got a conference matchup for the newly Houston Cougars. TCU coming to town. Let you go first on.
I've got TCU.
All right.
Speaking of another Cougar, but I rode with Missy on this one. I did go TCU.
All right, that's 100% as well. And then got the local college flair here with ACU bringing to town Incarnate Word University. This is one that I think a lot of people will pick ACU. Hodge did and Molly did, but I'm going with Incarnate Word in this one. I think that's going to be a very tough matchup, and that is a game that you could go see here tomorrow at the now I just forgot Anthony Stadium.
Yeah.
Anthony Stadium.
I've got ACU.
I picked the good old ACU Wildcats as well.
All right. Well, I'm the only one that went against them. That usually means that I'm going to lose. All right, and this is a game that Hodge was excited about. He's really on the Jaguars over the Chiefs. Moving to our NFL segment here, or picks. He went with the Jaguars. I went with the Chiefs. Molly went with the Chiefs. I have a feeling y'all both went with the Chiefs, but that's an assumption. Where do y'all got?
That eye must be working pretty good.
Dun, dun, dun.
Over here looking at my sheet again, aren't you, Josh?
Cheat.
Yeah, you're right. I did go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs are going to bounce back from the loss to the Lions.
All right. Speaking of the Lions, Seahawks at Lions. The Lions are the talk of football right now. Who do y'all have in that one?
I've got the Detroit Lions.
And I've also got the Lions.
All right. Molly is the lone Seahawk picker, and that is Hodge and I both went with the Lions as well. And we'll see how that one goes. Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots put a little stand in with the Eagles there at the end. The Dolphins were slinging it last week. Who do y'all have in this?
I've got the Donna, that momentary, and
You know, there was a little controvery between Tua and some other quarterback, and obviously I'm going with the Dolphins.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
got something to prove.
Yeah. Well, he does. Last year didn't end well for him after it started very well, so he needs to see if he can keep that going. We're Dolphins across the board on that, and we always save the Jets Cowboys, or the Cowboys pick is our last pick of the week. Does anyone have the Jets? I mean, it's a.
If Drama Queen wouldn't have been knocked out of the game last week, I may, and kind of like me going against Wiley Bulldogs, that'd be tough to do. But I did wind up going with the Cowboys.
yeah, I've got the boys.
Yeah, and I do too. I don't think that we mentioned it earlier with Rodgers being out. It takes a little bit of the flair out of this game, but I still say that it's tougher than maybe that it is because that but there's nowhere else I'd rather be at 3:25 on Sunday than watching the Cowboys win. So they're Cowboys 100%, and I would imagine our listeners are as well. I haven't delved into the submitted picks yet. I try not to do that because I don't want to cheat. I mean, it's one thing.
You already cheated a while ago. You looked over at my sheet.
I don't
We
know.
got him,
like,
we got him,
but looking at your picks, it's kind of like looking at Hodge's picks. It's like, but maybe.
Oh, he got me again. Yeah, I feel it. You're to blame. I see you over there, Josh. I see you, buddy. Golly.
But anyway, we're going to have to go to commercial. We'll be back to bring it down to, burn it down, really. Just go ahead and put it to the ground.
Burn it down and help me get off the
Thanks
ground.
for
This
listening
couch
to
is
this
low
Hodge
over here.
Pack on 106.9.
All right, JR. All right, buddy. See you in a few.
That was.
Okay, that'd be great. All right, buddy. Okay, great. All right, bye, buddy. All right, bye.
Yeah, because it's 8:51.
Yeah.
So
we'll just
it'll
go
be-
to 9 o'clock and
It'll be quick.
into.
Yeah, because we got 3 minutes commercial, so we'll have 7 minutes to field time.
Okay. So a quick knowing is half. Do you have a one
Oh, yeah.
prepared? And then we can roll into the weekend. Cool. Oh, that was funny. He got you a little bit on that one.
Yeah,
Gracie.
good job, man. That was a good play.
Yeah.
Good play.
That's the difference
give him-
between you and Hodge. Hodge would be like,
I give him a strike, and you got to hit a home run with it, man.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. You can't do anything else with it.
oh, I love it.
Yeah, so I looked at the radar like at 7:10. I woke up at 5:30, and boy, it's just going to play out or not.
Yeah, there was lightning when I was driving here, just
Me
all
too.
over the place.
Yeah.
Like
Last thing I wanted was a little lightning rod in my hand going up and
Yeah.
down, fixing to swing, and then Hodge said, "Yeah, we're good."
I
well,
know.
I guess it did roll out, but that's yeah. When I looked at the weather this morning, I thought it's going to rain at least till like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
really
Yeah.
hoping it chills. Really hoping. I want to see some Collins play ball this weekend.
So you're here, town.
Yeah, it's here. So sometimes when I think they're going to cancel it, they don't, and vice versa. So I don't know if they put tarps over those fields at Wiley or not. So we'll just have to see. Those fields actually retain water. Like, it's kind of impressive how they can get all that water off of those fields.
And what is they mixing it? Is it 4 parts sand and dirt, or how do they do that? Do you know?
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I don't know what they do, but
Or the-
that
impressive.
kitty litter stuff, all that they'll put on
Mhm.
the dirt. That
Yeah.
absorbs the water. But
Yeah, it will pour, and then somehow
Diamond
they're like,
pour.
game's on. I'm like, how? And we get out there, and I'm like, who did this? Like, this looks amazing.
well, then other times you don't think it rained that much, and they call stuff.
Right.
It's just like
Yeah, so far they haven't, but I don't know. They don't want to call it though, because then everybody gets their money back.
yeah.
So they're gonna
Force a few games.
they're
and
gonna
then-
make it. They're gonna make it. Yeah, I think. This weather though, it makes me tired.
Makes it easy to stay in and do nothing.
Yeah, I was struggling. I did not want to get up this
Yeah,
morning.
when the sun's not like shining when the normal time to get up or whatever, you always feel like it's really early. So I'll like being late because just house and doing
Uh-huh.
stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Like
Go around, yeah.
Yeah, we were at the school. It was like 6:55 this morning. They opened the school up at 7. And so I was like, come on. So then I could get here. But there were like 3 of us there.
7:20, so when I take the kids, I have to.
Yeah.
I wish it opened a little early.
Yeah.
Morning.
Okay, 1 minute
Morning.
left.
1 minute.
We're going back with no innings, half the battle?
Yeah.
And then into the weekend.
Yeah,
I'll just ride y'all's coattails.
8:54, so we got 5 minutes once we get back.
You want a 7-minute timer? Or
At 9 o'clock, we're gonna go to
okay. So we'll just watch it.
because we still got to pack this, and I need to
Like 5 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
We got to do station ID within 5 minutes. Is that?
5 minutes before, 5 minutes after.
Yeah. So we'll just go till 9. Let JR station ID go to commercial and then play the
We
music.
can just all watch it.
Good Friday morning, West Texas. It's the Hodge Pack, and we're out and about broadcasting live on location out here at the Abilene Country Club Fairway 500. And it's already underway, Josh. Misty.
They're
Look at them
playing
out
golf.
there. I mean, everybody,
Impressive.
they got their matching clothes on and the towel hanging out of that bag. I guess you got to dry them
Oh yeah, you got to
Well,
keep your
almost,
hands dry. You know, like
and the
it's-
balls dry.
you know, I don't know. I don't know if they're playing like where you can like clean
Yeah.
in place and you know sometimes people just get sophomoric around here and I don't know what to say. But
I'm trying to
I just went back to junior high.
I'm trying
It's
to
like-
compose
it's like-
myself. They always say,
They
Giggling-
usually do that to me.
giggling on the back row. Serious conversation.
Sorry.
But
You said
but
it.
anyway, we're
Keep them
gonna
dry,
we're
guys.
gonna-
yeah, keep them dry, boys.
we're gonna end this disaster with a little knowing is half the battle, you know, because I like to enable the listeners to avoid making mistakes because they can learn from my mistakes sometimes. And I made a mistake this week.
Ooh.
Well, I used one of your former knowing is half the battles because I thought about just wearing my man jersey this morning. Just for Josh.
No,
But
Oh, he would have roasted me so bad.
I don't even own a man jersey, but I was going to borrow one just
I-
for
I
Josh. You know?
that's a whole nother but I was at a meeting where they said that they wanted all the participants to show up to this thing and wear a jersey because it was like a sports team, and I was like, no. So anyway, but I made a mistake this week, and really that mistake was I let Hodge editing like access to my online spreadsheet.
Joshua,
I should have known
you
better.
know better. He
You
is
can-
not the grammar king.
You can call me Collect next time, and
Yeah.
I will advise you.
And so I have a spreadsheet that has all of our football picks on that. I did give Hodge and Misty the access, and so they could like log on to that and make edits. Well, this morning I went to get on my spreadsheet and noticed that like there were things that were missing. You know, like stuff that was not correct. I'd done some stuff yesterday. There's just a stuff that was just gone. So I asked Hodge if he made, and he said no. I didn't even know how to do that, which I'm sure how to do that. But the little thing is, there's a timestamp on the edits, and I know he did it.
Sure, updated last.
It's like getting your hand caught in the computer.
So,
I was gonna say, well, I know I didn't do it.
yeah, you've never made an edit.
No,
Your
I've
name-
never been in.
Your name is never on there, which is also something else. Like you should take some responsibility,
I
but
don't.
no, you
I
send me
don't.
you send me a screenshot that I have to do the work. Like,
Yes.
but so I guess the thing is, we've discussed this a lot. Hodge should not be allowed to be in charge of anything that has to do with technology, especially if that technology involves typing.
Yes.
Well,
You
I
know,
have to agree.
so
I have to agree totally on that little call.
you know, I've told Misty she needs to like change the password to our Facebook page and not let Hodge get back on it. But
He'll get so mad at me. I can't.
but
He'll fire me.
let do that. Well, the password he couldn't do anything.
That's true.
All
Take
the
it down.
passwords. Change all the passwords.
So this kind of goes hand in hand. Knowing is half the battle. Watch does not
He
know.
does not know. He won't
No.
know that the passwords are changed.
Did y'all see?
Uh,
Speaking of grammar, did y'all see that Patrick Mahomes had tweeted, "Hate that man," talking about Aaron Rodgers, and then he retweeted like a few minutes later, and he put, "Hate that, comma, man," and then it was like grammar is important because he was saying like, "Oh, I hate that man that you got injured," but he just put, "Hate that man."
That is very.
That is Hodge.
That is a very Hodge thing because you read that and you're like, he's throwing shade at Aaron Rodgers.
But he wasn't.
No, he was actually like, sorry that you got hurt. So that's very.
But
very
that was
key.
on Twitter this
Like,
weekend.
But and so that might be very limited life advice because I'm not sure how many of you would be dumb enough to trust Hodge with the password to any of your but just don't do it. That's the key. You might send Hodge a text if you just if you're down to have a good time, like just send him a text, ask him a question, and see how he responds.
We should just start putting his phone number in like all the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Text for a good time.
Yeah, and the good time is not like what you're thinking.
No.
It's that you will get to read a sentence that makes no sense.
You will
Yeah.
be so
That's right.
confused.
We can start that here in just a moment. I think
Yeah.
that's to the left.
Just
He would
with the
reply, "Hate
sticky
that
note."
I can't wait.
Well, so as if I guess we're out of time, which is kind of sad because I'm having a good time.
It was having
I
a
don't
good
know if
time,
our
man.
listeners are having a good time. I hope y'all are having a good
I
time.
think they
It's-
are.
Hey, it's always a joy, even when I'm not here to fill in or be part of it, to listen to you guys on Friday mornings. I do wish sometimes it was a 4-hour show, So,
And there are times that we could talk for that long. I mean,
Yes.
and football season is definitely.
that's right. A lot of topics, a lot of fun stuff going on. Just let me come in and sit in with you guys on the Hodge Pack. It's fun.
Thank you.
And good luck to all the ladies and gentlemen out there on the Fairway 500 today. I guess we'll know the winner later this evening.
No, it's not till
Tomorrow,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's 3-day tournament.
I guess 192 teams. That'd take a while.
take a while. So I guess we'll get a update from Hodge so we can cut him off when he starts talking too much about golf.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank y'all very much for being with us. We're going to roll into Friday so we can hit the weekend running and y'all enjoy it.
Have a good weekend. Thanks for listening to the Hodge Pack 106.9, the Country Giant. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you very much.
Thanks, JR.
You too, brother. Bye.
Okay. Sorry.
Good job, young lady.
Set on you. I cannot believe I ate my burrito in the camera. No, you don't. We get out of here.
Let's just copy and paste that.
He didn't tell us this part
Zoom in.
right here.